Hi YouTube, it's Monica, and today I am making a video for all of the SB277 homeschoolers. And what has prompted me to make this video is being on social media and seeing all of these posts from all of you guys and making me kind of sad, and I want to help you see the bright side a little bit. But right now, you've been forced into a decision that you didn't want to make, and that never feels good. You feel like a second-class citizen. You feel discriminated against because you are discriminated against. And I think there's a good and a bad to everything. And I think when you've been forced into a decision and you are being singled out and discriminated against, it's kind of hard to see the good in this situation. I've been homeschooling for a few years, and so I want to help you to see the bright side, because I figure if you've made the decision and you're going to homeschool, it's very natural and even healthy to go through a period where you're sad, you're sort of mourning for something that you've lost. But there comes a point where it's not healthy anymore, and you need to try to see the bright side, try to express to your child all of the good things about homeschooling. So you may not know what they are. So I'm gonna try and share some of that with you. So today I'm gonna start with talking about some of the bad things about school. There are good things. I'm not bashing school. I'm just trying to help people to have a more healthy, positive outlook about their situation that they found themselves in. The first thing, in no particular order, is that school is not so much school as it is daycare. It is daycare. If it wasn't daycare, your elementary student wouldn't come home with a bunch of homework every night. Neither would your junior high student, really, for that matter. It is daycare. It doesn't take 10 hours a day to learn how to read and write and some of the basic stuff they teach in elementary school. It doesn't. I mean, how long are they there? 4 to 6 hours, and then they come home with another hour of homework? It's absolutely crazy, and it's daycare. Now, daycare is fine. Daycare is necessary, it's needed, and that's why, sadly, a lot of people are complying with this law, because even though they don't agree with it, they don't have anywhere to put their kid, and they don't have the money to pay for someone to stay with their child or their children all day long. So they have to take advantage of daycare, which that's what school is. It is a safe, reasonably safe place to put your kid during the day while you work. Like I said, that's fine. It's just silly to elevate school into this sort of amazing, wonderful educational thing when really it's very utilitarian. It's a safe place to put your kid during the day. So the second reason that I say that school is not all it's cracked up to be is socialization. So yeah, you heard me right. I'm not using socialization as a good thing about school. I actually think it's a very bad thing about school. So I'm just going to read to you the definition that I just looked up online really quick of socialization. A continuing process whereby an individual acquires a personal identity and learns norms, values, behavior, and social skills appropriate to his or her social position. They're learning the norms and values appropriate to their social position. Do you think that the norms and values that kids learn in school are appropriate to their social position? Do you think really that when an 18-year-old graduates, that their behavior is appropriate adult behavior? Now, when I say that, a lot of you are going to say, well, they're not adults. But they are adults. We are keeping them in a childlike state. We really are. And if you start looking, you will see a lot of examples of young people, 18, 19, 20, who are very responsible, who can have a conversation with you, who are intelligent, who don't do crazy stuff left and right. The reason why that you have this sort of vapid, really not very bright 18, 19, 20-year-olds is because we're raising them to be like that. I had an interesting experience at the pool the other day. there was this Japanese kid, I think he was 14, and he had his little cousins with him. And there were this group of like 9 or 10 or 11-year-olds at the pool, boys, totally out of control. And the 14-year-old was like an adult. I heard him say under his breath, "Oh my God, that's dangerous," right? And I was thinking the same thing. And I said, "Is that driving you crazy?" He's like, "Yeah, it just looks like those kids are going to hit their head on the side of the pool." And I said, "I know. If that was my kid, it would drive me nuts." But I was talking to a 14-year-old like he was an adult, because that's how he acted, because he was raised differently. You see? Now, I'm sure he did go to school, and a lot of kids go to school, and the parenting has to really be strong to counteract this very immature atmosphere we are cultivating in schools. And clearly his parents are doing a good job. And now his little cousins were, they were little. They were like 8 and 10, I think. And they were just shocked. They're from Japan now, different culture. They were shocked at what they were seeing. They never saw kids that were 10, 11 act out of control and insane. But in America, that's normal. They're just kids. That's normal in America. But it's cultural. It's not normal for their age. It's normal for our culture. And what I'm getting around to, in sort of a long way, I apologize, is that when you put your kids in school, they are learning, the socialization that they are getting is not good. You want them to learn the norms and values that are appropriate for their social position. So, you want to raise an adult. You don't want to raise a child. You want to raise an adult. So when they're 18, you want them to be responsible, mature, level-headed as much as possible. And that's not going to happen in a school, because you have one teacher to 20, 30 students, and they're being raised sort of by this teacher and by their peers. And they are being raised by them because you don't see them very much during the day. But my friends, you're homeschooling. You didn't plan on this. You didn't think about this, but now you get to raise your kids. And if you stop and you think about that for a second, that is a beautiful thing. Your kids will have your values. Whatever those values are, they're going to share your values to a much greater degree than if they were in school. And this is a wonderful thing. This is a positive thing. This is not a bad thing. So just to recap, what do kids learn in school as far as socialization? They learn to swear. They learn a lot of bad words. When they're little, they learn bad ideas, especially about women. All these 9, 10, 11-year-olds, most of them have seen porn. I don't know about you. It's not about sheltering your kids. It's not age appropriate at all. They're learning completely warped ideas about human sexuality and very warped ideas about women. And who gets to benefit from those delightful ideas that these kids are all learning? The little girls. So if you have a little girl, you're sending your kid to school, guess what she gets? She gets these boys that have these very warped ideas about her, because what they're watching is affecting how they think about women and how they think about relationships. Will they learn good manners? No, they're not going to learn good manners. They're going to learn very bad manners. They're going to learn to be unkind. And anything that they learn is because you're undoing it at home, because you're a good parent. But guess what? If you homeschool, you don't have to undo any of that. You just get to teach them from the very beginning to be good human beings. And again, I know there's the occasional little darling of a child that just never learns bad things because they truly are little angels. But for most of us human beings, we're going to learn really bad things because most of us are followers. And as parents, we're going to have to undo that. So when you really think about socialization and what that means, I think that you would agree that school is not the place to be socialized. You want to be socialized at home. You want the norms and values. You want your children to have your norms and values. And you want to teach them that. You don't want some random assortment of kids to teach that. Or honestly, the teachers are strangers. You didn't pick them. Did you pick your kid's teacher? No, you didn't. So they're the ones that have the most influence, their teacher and the kids around them. But since you get to homeschool, you're the one who has the most influence. Where I live, heroin is a really big problem in the public schools. Heroin. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't want to shelter my kids. I don't think it's good. I think they need to learn to deal with these things. I'll shelter my kids. That's fine with me. I want to shelter my kids from heroin. I never had to deal with heroin, with someone saying, hey, you want to try some heroin? That's insanity. And your kid is so much better off not being surrounded by that. Another reason that homeschool is great and traditional school is just not so great is that a traditional school is not going to provide an education that is really perfect for your kid. It's either going to be too hard or too easy. That's it. So your kid's either going to be left behind because they don't really understand, the information they're given, or like me, I didn't understand it, but I can memorize it. But so what? I've forgotten it because it was meaningless to me and I never understood it to begin with. I mean, I've forgotten so much. I was very good at memorizing, got A's on the test. Woohoo, look at me, I'm so smart, I'm learning so much. Not really. No, I wasn't, because I didn't understand it. I memorized it for the short term. And a lot of kids aren't even good at memorizing. So they're just being left behind. And then there's the kids that are just bored because they already know what's being presented to them. So are they learning anything? No, they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, doodling. It's not a good education for them. So as a parent, you got 1, 2, maybe 5 kids. I mean, most people have 1 or 2. You have so much time to personalize education. After a few weeks, you know exactly where your kid is, where they need to go, and how they need to get there. And if you don't know how they need to get there, you have time and to figure it out. You love them. You care. It's not like, oh, I'm putting extra hours in, I'm not getting paid. This is my child. I want them to learn. I'm going to take the time required to figure out, what they need in order to learn this information and to get where they need to go. I mean, how much time can a teacher with 20 or 30 kids possibly put into thinking about each individual kid and exactly where they are and what's hard for them, what's the best way for them to learn. But as a homeschooler, you can really, really, really think about this information and really, really make a customized education that is going to help your child excel and do really well in life. And another interesting thing that people bring up is, at home, they're not going to have access to this and that, and we'll say biology and chemistry. Well, when you're talking biology and chemistry, like high school age, these kids can go to community college. How amazing is that? They can just go to community college. They can get their college credits. Who cares? Who cares if you don't have it? But what I think is that there are so many things in life that you want to learn and that you're not even going to have the option to learn that in school. So when you're homeschooled, you're not like forced to be in this building during these times. You can go out, you can apprentice with people, you can go out and take a million different classes. The whole world is open to you. That is just not open to you when you are actually in a school setting. So I think you have a lot more options. So I hope this has been encouraging because it's really a blessing in disguise. And I know that may not be what you want to hear right now because it's not fair and you were discriminated against. You were. But your kid is so much better off. So much better off. They will be more mature, more responsible. They will be kinder. They will be much better educated. The list goes on and on. It's so much better. So for all of you SB277 homeschoolers, I wish you good luck and take heart. It's going to be okay, and it's really going to work out for the best, I promise you. So If you like this video, please click thumbs up. Please give me your comments below if you have anything to say about this topic or any more encouragement for people who are choosing homeschooling, who've been thrust into this situation, they don't feel prepared. Please, give us your opinions and your information and your encouragement in the comments below. Okay? Have a great day. Thanks so much for listening.